Sure. Yes, sir.
Welcome, everyone. I'm now calling this meeting to order. Please stand with us. We'll be led in prayer first by Alderman Flores. Please remain standing after that for the Pledge of Allegiance. They'll be led by Alderman Payne.
Let's bow. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, dear Lord. We thank you for this time of coming together and discussing the city business, Father. Father, we ask that you continue to bless the city, bless its constituents, Father. Father, we ask that you give us wisdom and discernment to conduct the business of the city. In precious son's name, we pray in Christ Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda this evening is approval of minutes for the January 2nd, 2019 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 2nd, 2019 with any additions, deletions, or corrections.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Brooks. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks?
Yes.
Alderman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne?
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler?
Yes.
Alderman Flores?
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the FY 2018 Continuing Disclosure Agreement. Mr. Nick Manley.
This is a FY 2018 disclosure agreement. It'll authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. It'll allow Butler Snow to assist Chris Wilson with the filing the disclosure requirements as required of the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's the same thing we've done the last 3 or 4 years. It'll keep the city compliant with SEC requirements for bonds that have been issued. So the authorization for the mayor to sign the engagement letter as presented on this evening.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks?
Yes.
Alderman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne?
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler?
Yes.
Alderman Flores?
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the SAM Administrator Authorization Letter.
This will allow for, the action tonight will allow for Chris Wilson to sign the SAM Grant Management Authorization Letter. It's needed to be able to apply for federal funds and federal dollars. It's a new requirement this year. But it's not just the authorization for Chris to be able to sign the letter for the SAM program.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion as well.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion?
And just to clear, it'll make Chris the entity the one oversees and administers the grant. So, with the requirements and everything.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks?
Yes.
Alderman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne?
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler?
Yes.
Alderman Flores?
Yes.
Next, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is a printer's contracts from R.J. Young for our city clerk's office.
Yeah, these contracts for with R.J. Young, the city clerk's office, obviously, but they're based on the state contract price and also include the maintenance, include the cost for the copies per print will be included as the maintenance cost. So tonight, I need authorization for Andrew and Mullen to sign both these contracts for the printer's contract in the city clerk's office.
May I make that motion? Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Ayes have it. That motion carries. Next on the agenda is authorization to seek bids for utilities chemicals.
The current contract with Idaho Chemical expires in the next couple of weeks, so this will allow for the utilities department to go out for bid for chemicals. So I need authorization for them to go out to bid. It'll be done through that reverse auction, which is required in state law now, so not only authorization to go to bid, but authorization to use central bidding as part of the reverse auction process to receive the bids.
Mr. Mayor, I move we allow the utility department to use central billing to do the reverse auction to seek bids for chemicals from the utilities department.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is authorization to seek bids for the Greenbrook indoor softball facility.
Same, this will go to authorization to go to bid and authorize central bidding to assist the city with the electronic bidding required for the construction project of the indoor softball facility.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we authorize the Parks Department to seek bids for the Greenbrook softball facility.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion?
Motion will reflect authorized central bidding as electronic bids.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is resolution for Southaven Police Department sole source provider.
This resolution authorizing the sole source purchase of the vest, where the police department, I think that the current vests are no longer, or not in warranty anymore. This will allow for TYR Tactical to provide the vest at a sole source, and a sole source letter along with the invoices provided in your packet and part of the resolution, as exhibit to the resolution. Chief Pearl's here to answer any questions on that as you may have as well.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution, Mayor and Board of Aldermen, authorizing single source item purchase of ballistic vests in the police department.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Brooks. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for sanitation assessments.
It's just the sanitation assessments from those who have not paid, despite being given notice and opportunity to come from the board to speak. So tonight, we need authorization to proceed under 2119-2 for either placing a lien and/or a car tag fine to collect the monies owed for these sanitation. There's not, I think there's only 4 this time, so there's not that many.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution for assessing unpaid sanitation fees under Mississippi Code 2119-2 as presented. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a final resolution for tax exemption for the Gemco Lamp and Manufacturing Company.
As you may recall, we previously approved the tax exemption application, which was then sent to the Mississippi Department of Revenue for Gemco. Mississippi Department of Revenue has approved it as well, so authorization tonight for a 5-year personal property final resolution tax exemption for Gemco Lamp and Manufacturing Company.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
This is after the DOR approved, right?
Correct. And the resolution has the DOR approval as exhibit.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
We're going to add one more.
Okay.
There was one more that came in this morning on for a final tax exemption, just so we can do them together. For Alan Ritchie in Incorporated. It was previously approved by this board for 10-year personal opinion real property. Since that time, it's been approved by the Department of Revenue as well. So authorization to approve 10-year, final approval for 10-year personal and real property for Allen Ritchie tax exemption.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly. Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
No motion carries. We do not have a planning agenda tonight, correct, Whitney?
Correct.
Okay, we'll move on. Mayor's report, just a few quick updates. The congressional briefing trip that the DeSoto County elected officials do each year to take the time to go to DC and meet with our United States senators and representatives. It will be 3 days, April 10th through 13th. So again, what they've asked us to do is to take 3 aldermen. So if y'all will just be thinking about that, checking your schedules, and just let Christy know as soon as you can if you plan on making that trip. And as far as the airfare, we book our own airfare, but they get the rooms. They get the rooms and.
They reserve a block.
Okay.
And, well, they go ahead and reserve the rooms, but I mean, obviously it comes out of the traffic.
Okay, but they'll need to know, like, from us, how many people are going, so as soon as y'all can let Christy know, please do that. I do plan to go this time. Last year, the trip conflicted with the Southaven Spring Fest, so I was not able to go, but this year I do plan to go, so you will let Christy know if you plan on making the trip.
We'll go ahead and authorize travel for whoever's going. That way, if you find a good deal between now and the next meeting, whoever goes, you can go ahead and book it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's something y'all may want to do right now if y'all want to.
If y'all don't mind.
Specific.
So you get authorized travel for the mayor and 3 aldermen.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Alderman Flores to authorize travel for the congressional briefing trip. Second by Alderman Brooks. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, and that motion carries. Also, did we already get authorization for the sewer trip to DC? Did we do that?
You did, yes.
You already did that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you just reminded me of that. I appreciate that. Just moving on quickly, we had one of our first volleyball tournaments this weekend at the arena. Just an update, we had 52 teams at the arena. In real money, that was $17,000 made in 2 days at the arena. So just, we won't get down that line, but if you want to compare that with the revenue that we were getting, we made more in one weekend than we made almost an entire year. Let that sink in. 52 teams, that brings, and again, I'm not you know volleyball. How many players on a volleyball team?
There's about 10 or 12.
Okay, so you got 10 or 12 girls on a team. I think in baseball, the average, they bring at least 3 family members with them, generally with a sibling, usually 2 parents or at least 1 grandparent. So you can do the math there. 52 teams at 12 times 12 times 3, that's the amount of people that came back to our original business district that would have not had a reason to be there. So that's,
1,600.
yeah, there you go. So that's for one tournament. So that's the thought process, just to remind people. I know we still have those that, I'll be fair, don't understand it or either refuse to not understand it. But anyway, that's the economic impact. So those are real numbers. An update on transportation improvement. There are some things that change. Y'all know with MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, that we have to update our applications. That's a federal program that allocates money for transportation to metropolitan areas throughout the United States. Southaven is in the Memphis Metro District. So we compete with money that's allocated to the Memphis area but not just the city of Memphis, but with suburbs in Tennessee and in DeSoto County. So when that money is done, we have to make application. It's a 4-year application process. And so we have to be real specific what projects we want on that list, and then we've got to be prepared to have our co-op funding, which is generally 20% for that. When the project is awarded to you, If you don't have your 20%, you just get moved to the back of the line. That money goes somewhere else. So we've been real careful. I know y'all know we've talked about this a lot. We're real careful not to put anything on the list that we don't budget for our 20% co-op. So we've done that, done a really good job of that. We have had to make a few adjustments to that. When the Mackinvale exit was moved up on the list for Hernando, that took a lot of the money allocated to the MPO area here. So that's moved us back on a couple of things. So the main thing that's going to affect is our Nail Road extension. Y'all know that that's been in our plan for a long time to extend Nail Road from Elmore to Sweeney. There's some other issues with that as far as environmental things, hoops that we've had to jump through. But y'all did hire an engineering firm, Wagner Engineering. They're in the process of designing that. When they designed it, they brought that to Whitney's attention, and the cost was significantly more than what we'd initially estimated. So we tweaked that with some design and dropped that down some to reduce costs. But it's basically the update is it's in design phase, but it's going to be bumped. We had to move that back because there's not enough money. It's not our money, there's not enough MPO money. But the projects that are still have already been approved and are funded, let me just recap those. The main thing, the number one, is the Getwell Road South widening project. We already have the money allocated. That's an $8.7 million project, and that will widen Getwell Road to 5 lanes south of Church to Star Landing with median and pedestrian pass. Then you have the one's already approved Main Street pedestrian project, sidewalks from Highway 51 to Soche Park. That's already on the list. Snowden Grove pedestrian plan to add sidewalks throughout Snowden Park. The Central to Snowden multi-use trail, that's already done. The number one thing that we're seeking funding for from the federal government is they do have a separate overlay program to resurface roads. State Line Road, y'all heard me talk about it, y'all know it. State Line Road is in horrific condition. It's worsened by the industrial and distribution operations that we have on State Line. The heavy truck traffic that goes there continues to pound the road. Weather this time of year is also wreaks havoc on it. But we're looking. We know that is the number one big resurfacing project that we need help with. So we're going to continue working. Whitney's exploring some options there. But anyway, that's where we are on that. No big surprises other than the bad news that we're going to have to drop Nail Road back. The plan is 4 years, so that puts Nail Road to 2024.
2024 tip cycle.
Okay, but it's still on the list, and actually it was kind of a benefit. We needed a little more time for design anyway, because to downsize the cost. So
right, and deal with wetlands issues. So we'll have it shelf ready. So when it does come back into the tip cycle, it will be ready for obligation for construction only.
okay. But anyway, that's the update on that. Any questions at all about that? Okay. And then last meeting, as I try to do every year, the first meeting of the year, just do a general update of the progress that the city's made over the last 12 months. I'm not going to go back through that again. Y'all know it's lengthy. I went over that last time. That is posted on the city Facebook page. It's posted all over my social media pages. So if anyone wants to look at that, I'm not going to duplicate and read all that tonight. The only follow-up I'll add to that is just to remind everyone that this is going to be a very visible year for the city of Southaven. Y'all know that there's some projects that have been planned and discussed for 3 to 5 years. It's very frustrating. It takes a long time to get some of these things done. Just coincidentally, 2019 is going to be the year that a lot of these are visible. So I'm excited about that. When the weather starts getting better, you're going to see a lot of construction throughout the city, and there are going to be projects that are going to make a big difference for our city. So just stay tuned for that. One other thing I like to add periodically, like when I try to engage with my citizens. Everyone doesn't come to these meetings, as you know. Everyone doesn't watch these meetings. I think my mom's watching, as she always does, so she's my only loyal person, but people really just generally don't watch these meetings, so I try to use social media and other avenues to get the word out, just to be transparent, let people know what's going on. I continually will hear when an election year comes back, it's not municipal election year, but it's for state offices, a lot of people running for office, county, and the discussion will start about tax or millage rates. And when they see the list of things that the City of Southaven is going to be doing in 2019 and that we did in 2018, it never fails you have someone that says, well, your tax rates are so high, that's how you're able to do that. I just want to take this time to point that out that, we aren't higher than some of the smaller cities in DeSoto County, but we're not the highest taxing entity in DeSoto County. We're actually the 4th. So out of 7 entities in DeSoto County, we're the 4th highest taxing entity. So don't take my word for it, do your own research, but I like to point that out that this board, along with me, has been conservative. We tried to do things without raising property taxes. We've been successful with that. This is my 6th year as mayor. We've had no property tax millage increases, and I appreciate this board, but I just want that to be out there because sometimes there gets a little misunderstanding about that, so I want that to be noted tonight. And basically, let me scan my list. Okay, that's about all that's noteworthy this evening. Moving on, citizens agenda. We did not have anyone that signed up in advance to speak tonight, but the board decided a few months ago that we would not require approval. So anyone that's here that would like to speak, if you'd like to speak, please come forward and tell us who you are and what we're going to talk about tonight. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Please come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Toy Page, and I'm an ER nurse here at Baptist DeSoto. I also have a day spa that's been open in Horn Lake for a few years, and I just recently moved it here to Southaven. Prior to opening and signing my lease, of course, I talked to the planning department several times about the types of services I wanted to offer, and what we discussed was a name change, basically, because with me saying Allure Spa, apparently there are other businesses within a half mile away that are also called spa, so I couldn't name it the same thing. Apparently I could offer similar services to another business within that distance, but I just couldn't say that I was a spa or a nail salon or something like that that was within half a mile. So I went through the procedure of changing the business name, going ahead with my business checklist, setting up my inspections, getting all my plumbing installed for my manicure tables, pedicure chairs, things of that nature. Just went on with the process, and the plumber came out, inspected everything, gave everything the thumbs up, thankfully. And then he wanted to come back and re-inspect once the pedicure chairs were actually hooked up to water. So when we called him back out to come out to that, that's when he said that he was not going to be able to do the final approval, and that I needed to talk to someone in the business office. So I went there, and that's when I found out that apparently it wasn't approved to do nail services or to have my pedicure chairs there. And I spoke with Ms. Cho, and she said that basically I needed to come here and talk to y'all and let you know what happened, because she couldn't approve it, but to come here and kind of state my case about it. So that's why I'm here, is to see if I can proceed with my business as planned. I've already invested a lot of money in the labor and materials, and everything is ready to roll, and my customers are waiting for me to open. Spent a lot of money, and I thought that I did everything on the front end that I was supposed to do and actually I did do everything that I was told to do to prepare for this. I just don't have that kind of money to waste, so I couldn't have made that type of mistake and misunderstood. And I did bring whatever proof I may need as far as email communications, other examples of businesses that are offering the same thing but are called something different. So there may be 2 nail salons within half a mile of each other, that one's called a nail salon, one's called a spa, and some of them are actually called nail salons and they're within the half mile distance. So that's why I'm here, is to discuss that and see if I could proceed with my business.
I know nothing about this, Whitney. I mean, would you let me would you summarize the
Sure.
issue? What is the ask? What's she asking us to do?
Well, I'm not sure, I did.
What does she need us to do?
Well, I gave her a phone number, and told her to contact Christie before noon on Friday so that I could have Debbie and Lindsay come, because they were the two that spoke to her and witnessed the conversations. And also, so that we could gather our paperwork. From our standpoint, she spoke directly with Debbie, and Debbie informed her, she brought a checklist in and informed her at the beginning that she was classified as a spa, and that to do that, you have the half-mile radius rule. We bring all of them to you for a conditional use permit. The first business license checklist was denied, said we can't approve that there. After several conversations, this is per Debbie, which is why I asked for her to let us know she was coming so Debbie could attend as well as Lindsay. Per Debbie, she said, we can't accept this one. There's one in too close proximity to you. You need to find another location, and then you can't be considered a spa here. So after numerous conversations apparently between the two of them, she came back and said she's going to do teeth whitening. So that's a retail service. It doesn't fall suit under a salon or a spa. So she came back with a checklist. A checklist was approved, and it specifically noted on that checklist that it was for whitening of teeth. Then we got notified by the building department that inspections were going on, and there were pedicure chairs and manicure chairs. So we had to put a stop to it, obviously, because if it was even in compliance with the spa, we would still have to go through the conditional use permit here. There's still a formal process to open a spa up. According to the lady here, she either the miscommunication happened or what have you, that she thought she just had to change the name on the sign. The sign's now up without a sign permit, so we weren't even aware of the sign being installed, actually. So when she came in and spoke to me, I said, ma'am, I don't have the authority to override the ordinance. Here's what it says. You can talk to the board if you wish. I need you to get in touch with Christie so that I can get the witnesses here that overheard the conversations, have the conversations, and they can document what was said, because I was not in attendance, but I don't have that authority. So I was not aware that she was attending tonight. I gave her husband the information. Like I said, we were notified by the building department that it in fact was not a whitening of teeth station, and that it was in fact going into a spa station, so we asked them to put a hold on it because it doesn't follow suit with ordinance.
So basically, she needs a conditional use permit, but we don't have an application yet.
We don't have an application yet, and if she comes in as a spa, which is what she was told by Debbie, she won't comply with the half-mile radius rule, so she needed to find another location. So, even if I brought it here, unless we wanted to give a variance to the distance location, I don't see that the conditional use permit would go through, unless it is, in fact, just a teeth whitening station, which is what her business license stated it was.
So she needs a variance for the ordinance,
From the ordinance.
For the
Correct.
radius.
And that's when I said, I don't have that authority. The only person that has that authority is this board. So,
Okay, and then, but no sign permit too, we need a sign.
we need a sign permit, yes.
And this
Also,
comment, I was just told the sign permit wouldn't be required until I actually got ready to apply for the business license.
but the sign is up, correct?
It is.
Okay, well, see, we have to do that in prelude to the sign being installed. So it's just, everything's kind of the cart before the horse here, and like I said, I wasn't the one that she spoke to directly. It was Debbie, and she has a lot of background information. Apparently they spoke numerous times, and Lindsay, our administrative assistant, was witness to a couple of conversations. So they actually wanted to be here to tell you what conversations they had, which is why I was asking that she come and get in touch with Christie and set up a time to come here formally. But nonetheless, that's all I can add at this point, because I was not privy to the conversations until last week.
Okay, so basically, I guess for the board to know is if they want to make a variance to the ordinance allowing, waiving the radius rule and allowing that. And then the other thing is we have a sign up that doesn't have a permit, so that we got to back up, and that needs to be done a different way.
Right now, there's a hold on the building inspections, because it's not formally approved to go here.
Yeah.
And until this board says yes, they will be held.
Yeah.
How about do the application process and come back at our next meeting?
The only problem I'm gonna have with that, and that's fine, it's still gonna require variance because it doesn't meet that distance rule. So it would kind of be a twofold, to be a conditional use permit and a variance overlapping to get her able to locate in that spot.
But I would assume that the board members would like to know the details, because when you make a variance like that, you're setting a precedent, because then somebody else comes and the next person, why would you turn the next one down?
Right, and that's, like I said, that's why I wanted Debbie and Lindsay to be here. They are very adamant that they were very clear on the procedures and what could and couldn't go there, which is why they put teeth whitening on the business checklist, because they thought that it may turn into more. So they did ask the building department to kind of keep watch on it. But like I said, I wasn't privy to that conversation. I don't want to put words in their mouths, but if you would like them to email you or summarize or attend a meeting and show, that's what they intended to do.
Okay. Where's the location?
It's 928 East Goodman. It's across from Harbor Freight and Super Locals.
It's on the north side.
Mhm.
And where's the conflict?
What you do, and I think a little
Where's the other,
misconception.
where's
They're
the-
all within the half mile. You've got
How many- where's-
salons that compete with other salons, you've got spas that compete with other spas. It doesn't differentiate that this spa does, say, eyebrows, esthetician work, and massages, and this one does nails, pedicures. It doesn't differentiate between those two. You have 3 amenities, no matter what they are, you're in competition with each other.
What's the distance between hers and the nearest?
It's
spa?
about a quarter of a mile.
So where's the other one located at?
Well, I mean, we measured it. I've got measured.
Where's the other one located at?
You've got one across the street, where you've got the car salon and spa. You've got, one that is just down that this board actually approved, in the retail center just past Sweeney. I don't know what the name of, Delvana or something like that, salon, and spa. And then, you've got.
So those two are in conflict with each other?
No, they meet, that was the closest you could be. They met. Those two both went in front of this board. She's gonna kind of hit in between.
I think what Alderman, and correct me, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, I think what he's trying to ask is what is the closest one that is?
It's about a quarter of a mile from her
And that's the
location.
one that's across Goodman Road?
And that's when she, yes, and that's when she was told apparently by Debbie, like I said, this is all hearsay for me right now, and I'm not saying that I don't want you to misunderstand me, I don't know. According to Debbie, she informed her that you wanna come in a spa, then you can't go on this location, it's in too close of a proximity to the other ones. So apparently you kind of dwindled down the amenities that were gonna be in there and came back and said, okay, I've taken this off. And Debbie informed her, you still have more than 3 amenities. It's still considered a spa, and it doesn't change it. So then it went down to what, I'm just gonna do teeth whitening. Well, that turned into just a retail service. Well, again, and I don't wanna say you're correct, yes, I don't wanna put the words in their mouths or yours. I'm just kind of giving you a rundown of what I got as a summary. So the business checklist, Debbie had it pulled when her and her husband came in, and it does specifically say teeth whitening only on it, and that's what was approved as Allure teeth whitening being a service, and that would require conditional use, and it doesn't have a half-mile radius rule. So she was allowed to go in as that. And then, like I said, it came back to us, and it, in fact, was more than that, and there's a formal procedure that had to be done by this board, and then this all transpired, basically.
So what do you recommend?
I'm sorry?
What do you recommend?
I don't necessarily, I don't think it's a negative impact to the location. I think there's plenty around. I'm like the mayor, what makes me nervous is the domino effect of everybody else trying to come in and do it as well. I just want to make sure if it's approved, there's a real hardship there that we can approve, so we don't open the door for everybody else saying, well, they got to go closer, and they said they weren't aware of the rules, and I want to go close too. That's always our fight in our department, is when you get a variance, if there's a true hardship, we're completely okay with allowing it. And that's something you make a judgment call on. But the domino effect and the fight we end up with day to day is what they did at Joaquin I, they did at Joaquin I, and that's something we have to defend. So if there's a hardship and it truly was a miscommunication between the two and it just broke down, I mean, I'm fine with that if we have a true valid argument on paper for us. But I have no paperwork to look at, there's no formal paperwork.
We had to this, for a variance request, you have to actually make an application.
Yes, there's a variance
Has
application
there
and
been an
there's a conditional
application for a
use
variance?
application as well.
Has there been an application for a variance?
No, no, and she wanted to come speak to the board,
So they could make a decision tonight because there's been nothing applied for.
true.
I mean, I'm just asking. That's.
But I do like the fact that we got all the background for it, so when the application comes, we already know what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, I just, I made the recommendation earlier about waiting till the next meeting. I just want some time to digest it. So,
Well, and like I said, if you want a summary from the ladies in my
Right, that'd be
office,
great.
that's fine, and you can put your summary together, and that way we can get some paperwork to you while we're going through the formal procedures, or however you want to take that. My information to her is like, look, the authority is not within this office. I mean, that's a board decision, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned if the city did something wrong where we misled her, making her think that, she's done everything she needed to do and she's invested this money, then, that's
Oh, I
on
agree.
us. That's a problem.
I agree, the ladies
But
in
at the
office.
same time, listening to her discuss how, you can do the same things, but you just can't call it this. That
But
kind of made me
I
uneasy.
I'm sorry,
Just saying that didn't sound, that's not how it works. That made me
Yeah,
uneasy.
we're very, very consistent on our statements with that, and we explain it. And like I said, it may have been some miscommunication where maybe it was just misunderstood, but we communicate this on a daily basis. Spas and salons come through every single day into our office, and this has been the first of this kind. So I have to back my ladies, and like Debbie speaking on behalf of us and having a witness hearing what was said on numerous conversations, I would feel better that you heard it from them, because they're very adamant that they told it correctly, and I know you're very adamant on what you heard. Like I said, it's kind of like a toss-up on the conversations.
Probably one of those scenarios that either are wrong, it's one person's interpretation, so.
Very well could
Again,
be.
I want to digest everything and see what we can do
Yes.
to
Well,
make this right.
and in reference to Alderman Payne, I appreciate that too. I feel the same way. We misled someone, we definitely, but we don't have proof of that. I mean, the people are not here to speak,
I know
so
that.
we're not gonna admit that we made a mistake until we have complete information. So that's why it's best that, I would make the recommendation along with Alderman Brooks that, that you do have complete information to make a good decision. The other thing, and again, I'm not opposed to and I hope we can work it out, I really do. The only thing I would tell you is that the ordinance is there for a reason. Somebody didn't make that up. There's a reason that there's a radius rule in there from a competitive standpoint, and it is a negative planning when you look at the overall planning for the city. When you have too many things like that, it becomes a negative. It discourages some of the surrounding businesses from coming there.
Saturates the market.
Right. There's a reason that there's an ordinance and a radius rule. So that's why it'd be my suggestion. If y'all want to make a motion tonight, I mean, that's your business, but my suggestion would be to be fair with everybody, let's get complete information before you vote on it.
Well, and I think we need to have the applications filled out too.
Certainly.
So, yeah. But at least we heard the story and we know, so appreciate you coming forward.
And will you look to make sure we have contact information where we can get back in touch with her tomorrow and answer, to be clear, make sure everything's clear on what the process is?
Yes, I'll email back and forth with her. I'll have the ladies in my office do their summaries, and if you'll do a summary too, so we can kind of compile a package and get it back to the board and then decide how we want to move forward.
Okay, is that fair enough?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you for coming forward tonight.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
listening.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak on the citizens agenda? Hearing or seeing no one, we'll move on. Next on the agenda is our personnel docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the personnel docket as presented on this date.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the city attorney's legal update.
First, I think, Mayor, we weren't able to find them. I think we approved you to travel in the minutes, but just in case we didn't, for the sewer trip authorization, since we're here tonight, authorization for the mayor to travel to Washington DC to meet with the Congressional delegation regarding the Horn Lake Creek sewer district issues that he had talked about earlier with the board and mayor designees.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any discussion? And just a quick recap, this is the issue, City of Memphis, DeSoto County have worked together since the 70s with sewer. The City of Memphis has requested some changes, which has a drastic impact on the City of Southaven and parts of Horn Lake. So we're going to go speak to our United States senators and representatives to try to get them to work with the state of Tennessee and resolve the issue. I'm going on the 29th, excuse me, 29th of January, come back on the 30th. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Follow up on the Pinehurst project we had done. We did completed this or approved this summer in July. That has now been completed. The dam that was levee that was hurting College, that was potentially flooding College Road, or had potentially in the past closed College Road too while it was being repaired. The easement had a clause in there. The permission had a clause in there that upon the land access would expire at the completion of the project. Well, that project is complete now, so just want to make a finding on our board minutes that that project is complete. So tonight, just authorization to finalize that project and as far as it being complete and closing it out from any construction left for the city to do.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
And last thing, something minor issue, sanitation penalty, at 5315 Christie Lane, they did not receive their sanitation invoices, and there was late fees of $10.49. They're going to be paying they're paying the amount actually owed, but the $10.49 can be waived because they weren't actually given notice of the bills to begin with, and I confirmed that with Bradley. So tonight, authorization to refund the $10.49 in penalties to 5315 Christie Lane as part of the sanitation penalties assessments.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is our utility bill adjustment docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the adjusted utility bills as presented on 1/15/2019.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our claims docket.
Mr. Mayor, it looks like we have 3 claim cards.
Is there 3?
Yes.
I move we approve docket number 1 in the amount of $1,765,291.79, including command checks.
Second.
On docket 1, we have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Okay, is there a motion to approve claims docket 2?
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve docket number 2 in the amount of $237.80.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
That motion carries on 2. This is a small one. Branch out a little bit.
In and out. Mr. Mayor, I move we approve docket number 3 in the amount of $330,247.42.
Second.
On docket 3, we have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Is there a motion to determine the need for executive session this evening?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Payne. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The need this evening is claims and potential litigation or actual litigation regarding city infrastructure and the Southaven Police Department, economic development with potential industry and business locating to the city, and also personnel in the police department. Is there a motion to declare executive session?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Brooks, second by Alderman Hoots. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The mayor and board will now enter executive session.
Aye.